sitting here watching that video, getting goosebumps and wondering why I would volunteer to go after the chairman of ESPN at the podium. George, on behalf of fans everywhere, thank you for what you do. It's truly a pleasurable experience to watch this ESPN, and it's such an important part of so many people's lives. So thank you. And on behalf of our community, I just want to issue you an invitation to come back for what I have no doubt will be a premier ESPN experience, college basketball game day, Syracuse versus Duke in the Currier Dome next year. For those of you who want a chance to chat with George, he'll be available after the program and then also upstairs on the floor to answer questions about what he talked about with you today. For those of you who don't know, I'm Rob Simpson. I'm the president of CenterState CEO, and I am so grateful to all of you for joining us to celebrate success in business in Central New York again this year. To each of our economic champions, 271 champions this year, your individual and collective efforts are remarkable, and I don't think there's a better word for it. They are absolutely remarkable. Together, think about what you've accomplished just this past year. All told, creating 3,091 new jobs right here in Central New York, adding 1.7 million square feet of new space, and investing more than $1.2 billion in our homes, in our communities, and in our regional economy. In just a moment, you're going to have a chance to hear the names of all of our 271 economic champions, but I want to take a minute to just highlight for you a few that I think drive home the diversity of success stories that we have right here in Central New York. First up, Byrne Dairy, which has initiated work on a $32 million expansion of its ultra dairy facility, the extended shelf-life products in DeWitt. The project involves the addition of 100,000 square feet of new manufacturing space and the installation of new equipment. Cayuga Milk Ingredients over in Cayuga County, constructing a 108,000 square foot state-of-the-art milk processing facility, a $73.7 million investment that will allow the company to tap into growing international markets for milk products. Currier Plastics, also in Auburn, a regional advanced manufacturer, is in the final stages of a $21 million expansion that will add 50,000 square feet and create 50 new jobs. Our very own Destiny USA continues to serve as a tourism hub, featuring an unprecedented blend of retail, entertainment, and dining options, including Brooks Brothers, True Religion, Dave & Buster's, WonderWorks, and so many more. All told, it has attracted 26.5 million visitors to Central New York since August 2012 and has supported 800 new jobs in the last year alone. Dielectric Laboratories, a leading designer and manufacturer of high-frequency capacitors and custom thin film components for military, aerospace, fiber optic, and medical industries in Cazenovia, is including instrumentation on the Mars rover, is adding 60 jobs and growing its infrastructure investments in Madison County. Ephesus Lighting has expanded their LED lighting technology to 6 different arenas in the U.S. and Canada, including 5 professional AHL arenas and an NCAA Division I basketball program. Gannons Isle and Joe LeMay Fresh Garden Café have opened new locations in our downtown, adding to the renewed vibrancy of our Center City Business District, with 16 new retail businesses that have opened in the past year alone in our downtown. Harris Beach, which is adding 3 new jobs to meet the growing needs in the areas of intellectual property, creditors' rights, and municipal rights. And they've also become a sponsor of Syracuse CoWorks, our first professional co-working space located at the Tech Garden downtown. Infocon, one of our great regional success stories, has grown exports 20% in the last 2 years and recently won the President's Export Expansion Award. It launched its largest number of new products during the last year, added 30 high-quality jobs since the beginning of 2012, and it is currently in the process of evaluating a major opportunity to expand its footprint right here in Central New York. JADAK, for those of you who've been out to Hancock Field Air Park over the course of the last few months, tripling in size, building another 40,000 square feet addition to accommodate its growth. The Marriott at Armory Square, opening the first newly built hotel in downtown Syracuse in more than 50 years, with the introduction of the Courtyard by Marriott and the Residence Inn right across from Kitty Hoynes. Metro Fitness Club added 6 new employees and expanded 2,000 square feet, upgrading facilities and expanding amenities at its downtown Syracuse locations. Onondaga Community College just recently completed an absolutely stunning $19 million Academic 2 building, put in new athletic fields that are nearly complete, and a new program is preparing nuclear technicians to meet the needs of this cutting-edge industry and the regional demand in Oswego for this workforce. Rapid response monitoring, you may have read in the paper today, adding 60 to 70 new jobs immediately, all told working on a $11.3 million project to build and expand their footprint in the Inner Harbor right here in Syracuse. Last year's winner of our Startup Labs business competition, Rosie, has grown by leaps and bounds in the last 6 months. They're expanding the use of their online shopping tool in 8 retail locations across New York and Pennsylvania, including No James Supermarket right here on the near west side. They've hired 9 full-time and part-time employees, 6 interns, and have now more than 3,000 users have signed up for their mobile app. Suburban Propane has added 150 new jobs and expanded by 12,000 feet over the course of the last year. Syracuse University continues to be an anchor for the regional economy, undergoing extensive construction and renovation in the last year to the tune of $123 million. Thompson & Johnson Equipment has added 5 new jobs and invested more than $3.2 million in capital additions and new equipment to meet growing customer demand. Tops Markets, LLC, has opened 2 new stores in the city of Syracuse in the last year, one in the Valley Plaza and the other in record time on Syracuse's north side, providing the neighborhood with a full-service supermarket. And WCNY, our great public television station, will celebrate the grand opening of its new headquarters in the near west side next week, the culmination of a $20 million project bringing new vibrancy to a critical neighborhood in our city. These projects reflect the diversity of what's happening here, everything from retail to manufacturing, our anchor institutions and beyond. These are just a fraction of the projects and the economic champions that you're going to hear about in just a moment. And this is part of the success story that we are all working on together. You know, listening to George, it's hard not to think about the analogy, the little engine that could. And it means something to me for 2 reasons. 1, because I read it to my son almost every night. It's his favorite book. 2, there is something that resonates with that story in Central New York. This is who we are in many respects, the little engine that could. Now, I just came back from 5 days in Boulder, Colorado. It's where all my family is now, my mother, my father, my sister, my niece, and my nephew. Boulder's a great city. I'm out in Colorado, I'm having dinner with my parents and my sister. My mom's asking me about the merger and the work in Central New York and how are things going, how did it work to bring the 2 organizations together. And it took me a while. You got to understand, my mother's a minister. She's very good at oratory and at leading people towards a place where she wants them to end up. And it took me about half of the conversation to figure out where she was going. She's asking me all these questions about the consolidation of the organizations, and what she was really hinting at was at the consolidation of grandchildren. Right? She has 2 in Boulder, she has 1 here. That's difficult for her. And she finally came out and just said it point blank, why don't you guys think about moving to Boulder? Now, Boulder's a great city. There's mountains, there's plenty of recreation, there's all sorts of amenities, there's a fantastic downtown. But it's almost impossible to think about that when you think about what we have here in Central New York. We have an increasingly vibrant downtown. We have an emerging technology hub that's getting recognition all over the state and all over the country. We have neighborhoods that were once left for dead that are coming back. We have a community of business leaders and civic leaders and elected officials that are working together not to be a great city, but to build a great city. Now that's a phenomenal challenge. That's a challenge I would never want to walk away from. That is our success and our culture and the story that we are all telling together. And it is an incredible privilege to be a part of that. And every single one of you in this room, for what you have contributed over the last year and for what you will contribute in the years ahead, I thank you as economic champions for the work that you do. Thank you very much.